Hi folks, Frank Papy here. We're getting ready to do another video. Thanks for watching the first one so much. We had a whole lot of viewers and we got a lot of requests to do one on buying your first boat or buying a new boat or buying a bigger boat. So that's what we're going to give you this time. We hope you enjoy it, and thanks for the support and buying the books. Well, thanks for all of the views of the first video. This is the second video for illustrations, and people don't want to read anymore. They just want to listen to stuff. So I'm going to start off with a lot of the requests that I've had over the phone, and the requests for further videos is about buying your first boat or buying a new boat or getting a bigger boat. So a lot of the good deals never make the papers because somebody always finds out about it. So these days you can buy a boat on the internet now. You can do it with a computer. So that's another option you can do. But most of the people that came to me in the past, they'd say, how do I find a really good deal on a boat? I'd tell them to go to Fort Lauderdale and rent a Boston whaler and ride around through all the canals. It's got more canals than Venice, Italy. Find a boat you like. It looks like it hadn't been used a lot, and tie your whaler up and go and knock on the door and ask them if the boat's for sale. I've had about maybe, I guess over a 25-year period, I guess about maybe 10 or 15 people have done it and had fairly good success with it. They'll ride through Fort Lauderdale on all those canals, maybe take a day and a half, and find maybe 4 or 5 boats that fit that description. They haven't been used very much, and they look like the type of boat that they would need, and so they just do that. And sometimes they even take the audacity to slip in the water with the mask and snorkel and dive underneath the boat and make sure everything looks okay, or find out when it was hauled last, and then knock on the door and ask the people if it's for sale and maybe where it was hauled out so they could go to the boatyard and ask the yard foreman or somebody in the boatyard if the boat had anything done wrong with it, any bad accidents, or did it have any particular regular problems. And then you figure what the retail value of the boat is, maybe $35,000, $40,000, and you figure out how much money you got and what the situation is. Maybe one of them, the kid had inherited the boat, and he used it a few times, and then he moved out to California and he hadn't used it, and hurricane season is coming up and it's due to be hauled out again, and the insurance is due, and he's ready to get rid of it. So if you find out all those details, and then you just go to the bank and get a cashier's check for maybe 25, 30, whatever low ball you can figure that they would take. You can always go up, but you can't go down again after you make an offer. So, and as they say in the industry, money talks and BS walks. So when you go to hand them the check, if they accept it, reach out with the check, and when they reach out to get it, pull it back and say, and I need all the stuff that's in the garage or in storage or whatever, because several times people have done that and they ended up with a dinghy and a motor and some extra sails and other artifacts that went on the boat that people figured, well, he doesn't know about that, so we won't tell him. So that's the way to get that. Then you end up with a nice boat and you're happy, and maybe they give me a bottle of rum. So now you've got your boat, so you can either take it to the boatyard and haul it out, or take it down to Biscayne Bay or somewhere. I suggest when you first start sailing to sail in the bay. You go on down in the bay and scrub the hull off, and then find somebody in the boating industry that does independent work, and find out what jobs you can do and what you can't do. If you can put a good coat of wax on the hull rather than painting it, and check all the rigging and do some of the rigging yourself if it needs refurbishing. Sails, you can buy used sails and have them cut down, and all sorts of ways to save money. But you want to be safe, and you want to have the best safety equipment, and you want to have insurance. So shop around for insurance, and you don't need heavy liability. You just mostly need, there's a lot of rules and regulations on ecology now. If you have an oil spill, and Boat US has a big policy on if you have an oil spill on your boat, which can amount to a whole lot of money, and you're liable for it. But if you have insurance for it, it covers it. And then most of your marinas, the cost of boating has gone up a lot now, because in order to sometimes to top at some marinas, you have to have proof of insurance, liability, or whatever. And then to go in the boatyard, they mostly all require insurance. And a lot of boatyards don't let people do their own work on their boat because they're afraid they'll get hurt. And then there's a lot of pollution stuff where you have to have a vacuum cleaner connected to your sander, and you have to rig a curtain all the way around your boat, and you have to spread a blue canvas under your boat so the paint that's toxic doesn't pollute anything. The regulations have really gotten tough, but it's still worth it all when you get right down to it. And then you want to figure out where you want to sail. If you're a novice, I always suggest sailing like the original instructions of the video are. Difference between sailing in the blue water ocean and sailing in the bays. I think Biscayne Bay and Chesapeake Bay are the best sailing areas on the East Coast because you're in enclosed waters. You can go out on the bay and it's not too rough, and its average depth is maybe 10 or 12 feet, and then 3 or 4 feet in spots. Helps you with the navigation, and a big storm comes up, you can throw the anchor out, pull the sails down, hope for the best. And it's easy, a lot of people around to help you out. I never used to call the Coast Guard. I sailed my boat when the engine was bad. We'd go out sailing, the wind would die down, and I'd stand on the bow of the boat with a fifth of Old Settler cheap bourbon whiskey and hold it up and wave. And usually if you just wave, people will say, oh, they need help, and they turn their heads. But if you got that bottle of whiskey in your hand, they go, oh, hey, how you doing? What do you need? Yeah, we just need to be towed a couple of miles in here to the marina. The wind's died down on us, and the engine's in for repair, and they give you a tow in. So, well, I hope that helps you a little bit about finding out how to buy your first boat or get a good deal. There's so many other advantages of sailing, and there's fishing and the camaraderie. There's no gray area in sailing. That's what I really like. So you want to make sure you plan everything and get everything right and have all the proper safety equipment. I always said, he who goes to sea for pleasure will go to hell for a pastime. And I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next videos, and thanks for all the support. And through all the other videos, I'm getting a lot of requests for Shelton Adams, and I did a book called Waypoint Revenge. We sort of really liked John D. McDonnell, and when he passed away, we sort of tried to take up the gauntlet and came out with this book here. It's about a retired psychiatrist that lives aboard a boat in Fort Lauderdale and has some adventures. Gotten some good reviews, and thank you very much. And the links to buy all the other books are in the description. So keep sailing and enjoy reading, and fair winds.